Hi, this is Richard Capone from Let's Go Learn. I'm going to explain to you why math, secondary math, is struggling so much in the United States. Okay, so first of all, the difficulty of math is that, generally speaking, students will start developing gaps from third grade, and then those gaps continue to develop all the way through high school. And so the problem is that we are teaching math as a whole class methodology. And the difficulty is when students are getting these individual gaps, it becomes very hard to address all the individual needs. But let me explain this in terms of RTI, because this is what a lot of schools understand. If we look at the RTI model, right, we have Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3. Tier 3 is special ed, very small percentage, 5 to 10%. Tier 2 is pull out, in theory, 15%. And then Tier 1 is your regular classroom, which is hopefully 85% of your kids. But if 75% of your students are behind in math, or struggling, they have gaps, you now have to address those gaps within Tier 1. Now, typically, Tier 1 is whole class instruction. Okay? Whole class, WC. But the difficulty with that is you can't address everyone's needs. So what you need to do is we need to do personalized learning, small group, and whole class, all within Tier 1. That is a challenge. Now, this is where the RTI model somewhat breaks down and needs to be modified. And that's where a program like Let's Go Learn, or using a battery of tools that use diagnostic assessment and using a modified model like this will help. So what we propose is that within Tier 1, you need to actually integrate diagnostic assessment, do a small group and personalized learning, and augment your whole class instruction. Now, this can be done if you have good data and you have structural reforms. So I'll give you an example. What you may want to do is say, look, instead of following your pacing guide all 5 days a week, you do 4 days of pacing guide, 1 day of flexible. So maybe flexible Fridays. Your math teachers say, we're going to require this. Every Friday, you're doing flexible groups. You have station learning. Some students work one-on-one, and they get some individual tutoring on the computer program, and the teacher works with small groups, and you rotate. Another methodology that I've seen is actually at Ridley School District in Pennsylvania. They were using Adam for a year with their middle schools, and they realized that the data was so detailed, they saw all these different gaps, and they realized they were going to have a hard time carving out even 1 day a week for flexible group time. So what they did was they carved out 5 minutes off each period during the day and created a new period, which was called the personalized learning period. And it could be used for whatever they needed. So it could be used for ELA or math, but they now had this one period every day throughout the whole week that they could use to meet the needs of the individual students. Now, in order to do that rotation, you need good data. That's where something like our ADAM assessment or our DOMA pre-algebra assessment comes into play. Then also you need some kind of personalized learning program as well, which would be EDGE. Okay. Now, this model, it works in other programs and other areas as well, but where we really see it necessarily is in secondary for mathematics. So anyway, that just sort of initially gives you some background on the problem. I really feel wholeheartedly that the solution is technology. It's a combination with the teacher. Okay, you're not going to just do it with technology. You need the teacher using technology, enabling them, lowering the threshold for them to do this. Personalized learning, small group, and whole class within Tier 1. All right, thank you.